Wales is wealth and fame, great big ears and a big long name. But our Marc Emery takes the spot. The whole world knows he's the Prince of Pot. He's the Prince of Pot. He's the Prince of Pot. Now shy, he's not. He gives it all he's got. He's the Prince of Pot.
My name's Jeremiah Vandermeer. I'm the editor of CannabisCulture.com, and I'm just talking to Marc Emery, marijuana martyr, who's currently imprisoned in Port Coquitlam at the North Fraser Pretrial Center, awaiting extradition to the United States for a possible 5-year prison term for selling marijuana seeds on the internet. Marc, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing okay today. I mean, this is a very difficult place to cope with. It's a maximum security pretrial center, so everybody's in here. Even Willie Pickton, the serial murderer of 50 women, is just upstairs, right? So, and there are, there's a couple of murderers on most of the little units here. Those kind of people usually don't tell you what it is they've done. But, I was even roommate with a fellow who committed 2 murders in his lifetime. And had served time in federal penitentiaries for them, and he was my cellmate for a couple of days there. So you have all kinds of people here, including people like myself who aren't even charged with anything in Canada. And as your audience knows, I get locked down on the weekdays for 18 hours a day in my 8x10 cell with my cellmate, and on weekends 20 hours a week in a cell. And unfortunately, on long weekends, that's the same as a weekend. So, Thanksgiving Day, Monday here, the food was, as always, very, very bad, and I kind of cried even when I saw it, because it was so utterly disappointing that it was like totally lacking in nutrition, and fresh healthy food is very rare here. I tend now to be behaving like King Rat in the movie, trying to use my wiles in order to scurry up extra food. So unfortunately, I've resorted to bribing fellow inmates for their apples and their bananas by offering to buy them a chocolate bar or potato chips or noodles out of the vending machine, all of which are bad for you, and I don't eat those things. While I'm here, I don't eat white bread, I don't eat any starches, sugars, I don't take anything out of the vending machine like the chocolate bars and the potato chips and the soda beverages. I don't drink any of that, or I don't have the coffee here, and I just drink water and whatever clean food I can find, which is usually every second day people get an apple or an orange or a banana, and I usually try and offer to trade for those so I can collect them. And then once I've been here, we've had fresh carrots, and that was really good, and a lot of people gave me all their carrots, so that was a sweet day. I had a big bowl full of carrots to eat to keep myself healthy, and that's kind of what I'm doing, but I look incredibly trim. I've lost any aspects of a pot belly in the 16 days I've been here, and I've lost about 12 pounds, so I'm looking really quite trim, and it's difficult to get exercise because we don't really have an exercise area. We have a little area of concrete and the 22-foot walls that actually gets fresh air through a net in the ceiling, and that's nice to get cool air, although these days it's raining, of course, now, and it's quite cool out there, so it's difficult to stay out in that area for more than 5 or 10 minutes at a time. And so, as you can see, it's a difficult life. I was punished last night because, unfortunately, many inmates consider me a celebrity, and my movie was on the Knowledge Network. Prince of Pot was on the other night, on Monday night at 10 o'clock, and I love seeing it. They put Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech on for 30 seconds and then went right to my movie, and that will tend to make the people who don't like to equate me with great civil rights leaders of the past, that'll really drive them nuts that now a television network introduced my movie with Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. And I really enjoyed that. A lot of the inmates in the building have seen that movie now. And so they came over to talk to me, but unfortunately you're not allowed to enter someone else's cell, and you can't even go on a different level to go to someone's cell, and people started doing that, and a couple asked me for autographs, and a couple people wanted to talk at length about some of their personal issues in their life, because good conversation, could be challenging to find in an institution like this. So unfortunately, the guard took me out of my cell on the 3rd level, which is kind of the best level to be at, where I was bunked with a cleaner whose door can open for extra hours in the day, and that gets kind of fresh air in there. And so I was sent down to the lowest level and put on the floor of the people who are, let's say, mentally challenged, or people who are heavily medicated for emotional or psychological issues. And And he said, I'm sorry, Mr. Emery, it's really probably not your fault, but, you can't have people talking to you when they're not supposed to be on your level, or you can't have people entering your cell when they're not supposed to enter. And, of course, it's hard for me to stop people to do that because, everywhere I go, people want to talk to me at some length. And there are many times I would just prefer to be by myself and have some quiet time because quiet's very unusual in a jail, despite what you think, because people have their TVs on and your cellmate, wants to have a television show on or much music, as in the case of my current company. And I'm not with a bad guy by any means. He's a Canadian ex-military who served in Somalia and Afghanistan, and he's here because he owned an AK-47 automatic rifle, which are illegal to own, and he was caught with it, not doing anything wrong. He just had it, and it's a 3-year mandatory minimum. So he's been here 8 months already, and with 2-for-1 credit, will get 16 months off his term. Now, I think he'd probably get day parole immediately upon entering federal prison. So I'm not sure I understand why he's spending so much time here. But in any case, I was sent down to another level, and that's the 5th cell I've been transferred to in 4 days. I keep getting moved around. And it's often like that. I'm kind of like a hot potato. They never really know what to do with me in these prisons. Right? They're always kind of nervous, or they're kind of resentful that I'm sort of like popular, or, so I get punished for that popularity sometime. And after my movie was on, you never know if that makes some guards resentful about, all the attention I get from the vigil outside. They see that every day, and a lot of guards are supportive. In fact, in the guards' own kitchen area and the guards' own staff area, they have a banner for Marc Emery up there that they took off the front lawn of the jail and brought it in, and they put it on their wall. So it's on their wall in their own staff room there. So there must be conflicting points of view about what I represent and what it means for me to be in this prison system here. And when I get transferred next, I'll get transferred to a place called SeaTac pretrial near the Seattle airport, and that's where people who are awaiting trial or sentencing in the Seattle federal courts or the Seattle state courts wait, and I'll probably be there 3 to 6, 7 weeks, where my pre-sentence report will be gathered, and that'll be submitted to the Judge Ricardo Martinez upon my sentencing. And so SeaTac won't be any better than this place, and this place is not good. Like I said, it's a cold, concrete, unloving place where you don't get much time outside of your cell to do anything other than eat and take a quick walk out in the so-called recreation area and get a shower and maybe pick up your mail or something like that and get food, and that's about it. Otherwise, you're locked in there. And I miss a lot of things. I miss fresh food. The vending machines have no food that is good for you or nutritious, and we don't really get much of that here. And I miss just fresh salads and fresh cut fruit. And I don't eat the meat here. I'm on a vegetarian diet, and a lot of things are processed and pre-prepared, like the milk is powdered milk, and the potatoes are powdered potatoes, and things like that. So it's a difficult life. I'm not getting much mail from people. I think it's taking a while to get here, or if people are even sending it at all. But I typically have gotten about 6 letters so far, and I get pictures from Jody occasionally, but she's overwhelmed, and with so much work, she's not able to really send me that much mail and that many personal letters. And mostly, she sends me photocopies of news items and photographs and stuff to try and keep me cheered up.